Good morning to ya. The last time on Thursday we did a teaching point, we had this one where we're comparing and contrasting two different subjects, characters, side by side, and how are they similar and how are they different? Your own little compare and contrast. I hope you're supposed to have done that. And you have it in your either writer's notebook or on your computer. And you compared one of your characters with another character, or it could have been you compared it to yourself. And one of the things we talked about is when you're comparing um, characters, it should be something you're comparing two characters. Like you wouldn't compare Blackpink with Del Taco. So you're comparing characters, so you won't fall into the trap of not comparing similar things. Because if you're comparing you with your character, then you're two people, and that's similar. Today's teaching point is literary essay writers compare and contrast by using transition words. This is an awesome place to use transition words. If you're comparing and contrasting, it's automatic. And you have on haiku the list of transition words, but I also gave some good ones here that you could use. Just try your best to be using these words, some way fit them in, because it makes your writing great again. By comparison, in contrast, in addition, they are similar or different because I forgot the other bracket behind different. For instance, also, this is, while that is, and however is always a staple for transition words. Some examples of how I practiced using me and Mrs. O'Mara. So I used comparison as a transition word, but notice how the transition word can be at the end. Mrs. O'Mara is smarter than Mr. Celine by comparison. Try not to be offensive. We all know that's not true, but it's written, and I don't want it to be written the other way around because then you might show Mrs. O'Mara. Ha! See what I did there? Mr. Celine is slow at grading. By contrast, Mrs. O'Mara gets hers done quickly. Notice again, the opposite's really true. In addition, Mr. Celine gets grades in slowly. I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote this. He also is slow to post lessons. Now, there is a little truth in that one because I spend so much time doing the recordings, it takes longer. But Mr. Celine and Mrs. O'Mara are similar in how deeply they care for students. For instance, Mr. Celine will accept late work, and Mrs. O'Mara lets us do retakes. For instance, I didn't underline in red, but it's a transition word. Now you practice in your writer's notebook or on the computer. Go, right now. Stop looking at me. Go. Compare any of your characters you want to. You can compare just for practice. You can compare anybody. It doesn't matter because we're practicing. Just make sure you're doing this work because I'll be checking. Here's a little handy dandy sheet to help you, and it's going to include some stuff on it that is the same as you saw that I used for practice for transition words, and it's got a little advice for comparing and contrasting. So don't forget to also use the website that I have for haiku learning and argumentative writing, where there's the rubric and there's all kinds of little pointers and tips and also mentor texts. So don't forget to use that resource. Happy writing.